another vlog. Good morning, Friday. This is the part 2 of my vlog of sharing my reflection. The first one, Act of Declaration of the Philippine Independence. Filipinos knew a lot about the day of the proclamation of independence in the Philippines, and one of the presidents of the Philippines hinted at why Philippine independence is worth honoring and why Filipinos celebrated it. It focused on a series of events that culminated in a series of revolts against the Spaniards. It gave us Filipinos a better understanding of the revolts and the Declaration of Independence. The Spanish lost possession of the islands to the Americans through the Treaty of Paris, resulting in the Philippine-American War, and as a result, the United States rule of the country. The Philippines did not gain full independence until July 4, 1946. Since then, July 4th has been observed as Independence Day. The second one, guys, is Rizal's Retraction Controversy. This lesson will cover Rizal's ability to retract his claims against the church and the Spanish government, as well as the historical ramifications of his retraction claim. Many historians debate whether Rizal ever retracted what he said about the Catholic Church. Some argue that the retraction paper is a forgery and that Rizal was the only one who authored and signed it. Citing Rizal's statement, "I reject with all my heart whatever in my works, publications, and actions has been adverse to my character as a son of the Catholic Church." But the important issue is that, whether Rizal retracts or not, the wisdom he imparted to us remains. The third one, Treaty of Paris between the United States of America and the Kingdom of Spain. One of the significant events that determined the Philippines' future was the outbreak of the Spanish-American War in 1898. The Philippines and other territories were lost by the waning Spanish Empire to the emerging might of the United States of America, which is why Filipinos are remembering the Treaty of Paris of 1898. On December 10, 2018, it will be the 120th anniversary of the historic pact between the two nations that put an end to the months-long Spanish-American War that erupted after a U.S. ship anchored in Spanish-controlled Cuba exploded unexpectedly. Filipinos are reminiscing about how the Philippines was sold as a commodity between the two superpowers for a low price. Filipinos' Resistance Movement 1651 to 1700s by Sir Roland Dalagan. This issue focuses on the Filipino resistance movement that took place from 1651 and 1700s. It discusses historical events, the year they occurred, the location where they occurred, as well as Filipino acts of revolt and Spanish suppression techniques, sources, and finally the location. All of these topics are covered in the supplemental, which focuses on the Filipino resistance movement. After reading those incidents, I realized that I was in a scenario where Filipinos could revolt due to betrayal and an unfair system. I felt sad and depressed at the same time, knowing all the historical events that had occurred before me and knowing that I couldn't do anything to fight for the rights of every Filipino. Which is why I felt the way rebellion is a term that has had impact on me. That word has an effect on me as well as my community or nation because we have a lot of rebels. We all know that the word rebellion connotes an act of violence, implying that you are opposed to the circumstance, which is why you did it to fight for your side. The sociological consequences of this are that it has the potential to either improve or destroy our system. Next, President Emilio Aguinaldo's declaration of war on the United States, Malolos, Bulacan on February 4, 1899. This topic talk about the Philippine-American War was fought from 1899 to 1902. The United States entered the conflict with undeniable military advantages. The Filipinos were hampered by their inability to gain outside support and shortages of weapons and ammunition. They eventually switched to guerrilla warfare, suffering severe losses in men and material. Treaty of Paris. The readings are intended to give students with primary materials that will help them understand the material, to comprehend the story of the American occupation of the Philippines. You must first understand the context. The collection, which is organized chronologically, will allow them to read the Treaty of Paris of December 10, 1898 first. The Treaty of Paris of 1763 ended the French and Indian War, or 7 Years' War between Great Britain and France, as well as their prospective allies. In the terms of the treaty, France gave up all its territories in mainland North America, effectively ending any foreign military threat to the British colonies there. The 1943 Constitution. This topic discusses how the Japanese administration established the Philippine Executive Commission at the start of the occupation, which was primarily made up of Commonwealth government political leaders. They also established the Kalibapi, Kapisanan ng Paglilingkod sa Bagong Pilipinas, the countries and political parties at the time. Hideki the Japanese Prime Minister, promised that Philippines' freedom on June 16, 1943. The Preparatory Committee on Philippine Independence (PCPI) was founded by the Kalibapi and was tasked with drafting a new constitution for the Philippines. The new constitution was approved by the PCPI on September 4, 1943. And ratified by the Kalibapi Convention on September 7, 1943. The 1943 Constitution retained 12 of the articles from the 1935 Constitution, with the President being elected by a majority of the National Assembly members. The omission of the Bill of Rights is a striking feature of the 1943 Constitution. That's all, guys, for today's video. Hope you like it.